Hundreds of Palestinians have rallied in the city of Nablus against Israeli regime's annexation plans in the occupied West Bank. The Fatah Party official Jihad Ramadan, who attended the demonstration, said Israel aims to kill the Palestinian dream with its plans of annexation. Other Palestinian officials have also firmly rejected Tel Aviv's decision. Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu, however, has vowed to take steps toward annexation as soon as July 1st, amid widespread international condemnation. UN on Sunday said that the move will breach international law and most likely trigger conflict and instability in Palestinian territories. And now joining us is Saeb Shaath, author and Middle East affairs expert from Belfast, and Ken Stone from the Hamilton Coalition to Stop the War, joining us from Hamilton, Ontario. Gentlemen, I'd like to welcome you both to the program. We're going to start with you, Mr. Saeb Shaath out of Belfast. Your thoughts, it seems like with all the worldwide condemnation we've even seen threats coming out of France and other European countries, we still are yet to see Benjamin Netanyahu even hint at changing his mind. Why?
Netanyahu, he knows very well this is occupied territories of 1967, and all what he's doing of changes demographic in the occupied territories there is in a breach of the international law stated by the EU, by the United Nations, by many. But Netanyahu wants to take advantage of the last days of his friend Trump is still in office, and he wants to go ahead with the annexation part of the West Bank, and he doesn't want to commit himself with the other side of the of Trump's plan, which is the two-state negotiations on with the Zionist entity and the Palestinian Authority on the final status, which will create, according to his plans, some sort of Palestinian entity. And the Americans set up a committee to draw a map marking out the eventual partition of the West Bank under this Trump's plan. But yet there is no news of any American maps. And I can see, and I won't see, I can see there is no map will be there. And Trump would dare even to show the world map. Trump facing a huge protest, as the whole world can see, in the United States of America's violent clashes. He wants to deploy his own army against his civilian demonstrators who are like protesting of the systemic racism in the state institution. And he wants, and then you can see the cracks appeared in his government today when his defense secretary disagreed with him, and he cannot say to you deploy the army to counter civilians. Trump as well disengaged from the World Health Organization, which shocked the world while we are facing pandemic. He's mismanaged the corona in the United States of America. Over 120,000 deaths in America, shocking number compared to the size of population in America, and according even to any country in the world. He is starting a Cold War with China and Russia. So today, as well, we have these from the Zionist media in Israel, they citing a senior government official speaking on condition of anonymity. He said that Trump is also trying to slow the Israeli annexation plan down after coming under severe and heavy pressure by some Arab state. So it's all clear now and shows there is waning enthusiasm in Washington for the deal of the century. Trump thinks of himself only, his election in November. He doesn't want to fight on another international front by allowing the Zionist thugs the annexation of the West Bank. At the same time, he wants to pledge kind of sort of image and peace plan which will show him he is the only American who can achieve peace in that. He failed in that because he gave everything to thugs, to the Zionist entity.
Thank you, Mr. Saeb Shaath. And Ken Stone, I want to welcome you to the program. Always a pleasure to have you on and get your perspective on things. Your initial thoughts, Ken?
Well, the deal of the century is offensive, illegal, outrageous, and it won't stand. And what's more, it will further isolate the state of Israel and its allies. A case in point, just yesterday, the Canadian Prime Minister, Justin Trudeau, announced yesterday that he personally spoke to Netanyahu and informed him that he deplored the project of annexation of the West Bank because he said it violates international law, it undermines the peace process, and it won't lead to a lasting peace. So imagine the Canadian government, which for the past 5 years has sent its ambassador to the United Nations General Assembly to vote against all the resolutions that come up every year condemning the state of Israel for its various crimes against the Palestinian people. Yesterday, it broke with Israel and the US and declared it was against the annexation plan. So this annexation plan, it won't stand, it's not going to work, and it will further isolate Israel and the USA.
And Mr. Saeb Shaath, if I could ask you this, Saeb, why is it that we know that the U.S. supported apartheid South Africa for many years, even had Nelson Mandela declared a terrorist for so many years? That all changed. How come we have never seen that change? Because in a lot of respects, the Israelis are worse even than the Africans down in South Africa, the way they were treating the indigenous population down there. But yet, you know, the U.S. does not recognize it as an apartheid regime and does not take any steps into correcting the wrongs in Palestinian territory. Why?
Good example, good question. There is empathy between the United States of America and the Zionist entity. For one, it's the same history, how the Americans occupied the United States, America as well, and eliminated the indigenous people. And the same thing, the Zionists, as European colonialists, came and with the help of the British and then the Americans, France and the rest, tried to colonize Palestine and establish on it their Zionist entity, which will be the military base to control and dominate the region on behalf of the United States of America. This is a project from the times Bonaparte called for emancipation of the Jews at the time, and his head was to creating such a base to control that area. And today the Americans taken advantage of that. But the support for the Palestinian cause in Europe and the United States of America is growing in an astonishing rate today because of the internet, because of the information there, which is the main media couldn't distort anymore the people from seeing the truth. So the Palestinian cause have a huge support, and you can witness starting from Ireland, Britain, and across Europe, and as well in Europe, you can see Ireland and Britain always have influence in their expats or the American population, and that kind of link created a huge support. These governments in the West and the United States of America wanted to see before Trump the two-state solution. They wanted to pamper and to create and to ensure a strong Israel, even with sort of hidden apartheid state. They don't want to see today that chance of creating a small entity for the Palestinian disappears, because it will expose them as they only supporting their colonial project. And their people will not allow their government to take their taxpayers' money in the open today and support the existence of an apartheid state. This is the key. If they can convince Netanyahu to accept kind of Palestinian state and to show like Israel in the right, it's not like South Africa anymore, the European will be happy and will continue support. But if Netanyahu expose his supporters, they supporting an apartheid state, this is a disaster for Europe, and the European won't touch that, because the streets in Europe will explode in their faces and in America as well, as is happening today for Black Lives Matters and Palestinian Lives Matters as well in the future.
Thank you, Saeb. And Ken Stone, your final thoughts, please.
Well, I think what is going to be necessary now is that the Palestinians resist. Of course, the mere fact that they continue to live on the land of the West Bank, Gaza, and even inside the state of Israel, hanging on by their fingertips is resistance in itself. But yet they managed to resist even more with the Great March of Return, the demonstrations such as you referred to earlier today in the West Bank against annexation, the Palestinian prisoners' struggle, the struggle against home demolitions. The Palestinians are resisting every day with their lives, and they will find the appropriate mode to resist the annexation of the West Bank by Israel. And it's our job in the rest of the world, as the previous speaker said, to support the Palestinians in their struggle in any way they see fit, because according to international law, the Palestinians have the right to resist an illegal occupation by any means possible.
Thank you, gentlemen, for both of you showing up and giving us your perspective on the program. Saeb Shaath, author and Middle East Affairs expert, joining us from Belfast, and Mr. Ken Stone, Hamilton Coalition to Stop the War, joining us from Hamilton, Ontario. And viewers, that is a wrap for this segment of your Press TV News Review. Thank you for tuning in, and goodbye for now.